Wow, Wrestlemania 21 for the Xbox. Become a legend. You know what, this game is renownedly hated. Now, before I get to the hate, first, here's some information. Wrestlemania 21 is a wrestling game that was released in 2005, exclusively for the Xbox. This game was released after Raw 2, but it is not in any way a sequel. THQ announced in 2004 that Wrestlemania 21 would be replacing the Raw series. Yeah, THQ fired Anchor Incorporation and brought in Studio Giganti to create this game. Studio Giganti is a developer that created only 2 games and then folded, one of the games being Wrestlemania 21. John Tobias is one of the 3 people who established Studio Giganti. John Tobias is a guy who, along with Ed Boon, was one of the creators of the Mortal Kombat series. I kinda understand why THQ would hire Studio Giganti, since the owners did help to create Mortal Kombat, one of the most successful gaming series ever. But still, Giganti had only developed one other game before WrestleMania 21, which was Tao Fang, First of the Lotus. And Tao Fang had decent visuals, but it was pretty much mediocre at best, depending on who you ask, because some people really hated this game. Okay, now for the hate. Wow, do people hate this game. In fact, this game has gotten very little number of requests. I remember reading a comment from someone telling me not to review this game and to pretend that it doesn't even exist. I could keep ranting on and on about how people hate this game. GameSpot gave it a 4.5 and IGN gave it a 6.0. Yeah, this is the same IGN that gave Raw 2 a 9.1. Anyway, WrestleMania 21, let's just take a look at it. You started this loading screen which took a full minute to load. You get the Studio Giganti video. Now, is it just me, or is the video of the robot falling to Earth with the spooky music actually make it look like a warning to Earth or something? Because that's kind of what it looks like. Now, to this game's credit, the video introduction actually does use gameplay graphics to represent the game, instead of just stock WWE footage. Except the music doesn't suit the actual video very well. Speaking of the music, you'll find most of these songs on the SmackDown game as well, particularly on SmackDown vs. Raw. So, you come to the menu, and while the menu looks pretty decent at first, you quickly realize just how basic it is. You pretty much have all the matches you would expect to see there, except for the Elimination Chamber. Then you realize that the matches you see here can only be played in a one-on-one match, which is really stupid. The roster is average. Some wrestlers look good and some look kinda strange. The entrances. This is where WrestleMania 21 shines. It really does. The entrances for 2005 look pretty awesome. I don't think I need to say anything really. The video speaks for itself. Pretty much all of the entrances in this game that I saw look magnificent. Even the graphics now still look pretty nice. Now we come to the actual gameplay, and I'll be blunt here. Just like Raw 2, this is where things go downhill. You may notice that the controls feel a little delayed, which can be pretty annoying. The controls actually feel a little more like the SmackDown games compared to Raw 2. For instance, the back L and R buttons, they reverse moves. Although reversing moves is more difficult. The indicator you see here that tells you to reverse moves. This indicator only appears for a split second. Yeah, this gameplay actually prides itself on the all-new Pro reversal system, which is crap. It's not new at all. It's exactly the same as the SmackDown games. It's only more difficult and frustrating. Performing a finisher is easy. You beat your opponent up and increase your fire bar thing. When it's full, you push X and A at the same time. That's it. Everything goes red in slow motion. I get that, trying to make it look dramatic, but it really doesn't look that good. Especially compared to something like the Shut Your Mouth 360 spin. Overall, the gameplay is flawed to hell. It's not fun, and it gets old real quick. Seriously, do not bother trying to kick or punch your opponent unless your opponent is groggy, because for some reason grappling almost always wins, which again is annoying and sometimes frustrating. The gameplay graphics do look very good though. Just like the SmackDown games, you have a damage indicator that is represented in a human figure. There is blood too, so that is a plus. As for the animation of the moves, a lot of the moves look quite good, but then again, there are also a lot of moves that look horrible. The sound effects and commentating are pretty average. This is just a nitpick, but some of the hints you get during loading times are just stupid. To the point where it actually annoys me, like this one. Hint, throw your opponent off the cell to inflict high damage. Yeah, sure. No shit. As you can see, career mode is locked. Now in order to talk about the career mode, I first have to talk about the create a wrestler mode, because creating a wrestler is the only way to play a career mode. So how does create a wrestler hold up? It doesn't. Seriously, create a wrestler is so limited, there's not much of anything to choose from, and the customizations are just pathetic. Not many moves to choose from either. Creating an entrance also sucks. This is crap, especially compared to the SmackDown games. Raw 2's Create a Wrestler is far superior to Wrestlemania 21's. Everything is just so basic. So basic I didn't want to put in the time to make my superstar look decent. Then again, making a decent looking wrestler with a crappy Create a Wrestler mode is damn near impossible. Why is the Create a Wrestler so simplified? It shouldn't be simple. Create a Wrestler should have a certain level of sophistication. You know, it should be complex, intricate. Because you know what? Part of the fun of creating your own wrestler is feeling like a mad scientist. I mean, you can spend hours and hours on the controller, playing the game, playing Create a Wrestler, carefully, meticulously creating your own wrestler, detail by detail, making it perfect. And then, after all those hours of work, you can finally say, it's alive! It's alive! What, is it just me? Now, what really sucks about this is that you have to create a wrestler if you want to play the career mode. Okay, so now we get to the career mode, and in this career mode it is totally different than Raw 2's. Now I know Wrestlemania 21 isn't a sequel, so I don't take the comparisons between Raw 2 and Wrestlemania 21 as seriously as I do if it were a sequel, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, like I was saying, the career mode is different than Raw 2's. In fact, it's more like the later SmackDown games, where you can only follow one story, in which there are cutscenes that are fully voiced over. Some say it's more like Day of Reckoning, but I haven't played that yet. Now, since you know that career mode kind of feels like an interactive movie, let's see what it's like. Now, the story goes, since you are a beginner, you start right at the bottom of not SmackDown, but Velocity. Yeah, exciting stuff, right? You face Chavo and Rene Dupree, and you have to beat them and work your way up, blah blah blah. Your wrestler has an attitude on him, which I admit makes things more interesting to watch. Career mode starts off slow, but it does pick up after you get to your first pay-per-view. But you know what? I found it hard to enjoy the career mode, because of all the matches in between. The gameplay sucks. This is a perfect example of how bad gameplay brings everything else down. So I just watched the rest of the cutscenes on YouTube. And you know what? Not giving anything away, the feud with Evolution, and fighting the legends, and everything else in the storyline, it really wasn't bad at all. Career mode is easily the best part of the game if you don't mind the matches. Overall, this game is disappointingly basic. It has less matches and way less options than any wrestling game should for 2005. Wrestling games had come quite far at that point in time, and this feels like it's kind of taking a step backwards. The gameplay is no doubt bad, but is it worse than the Raw games? You know what, they are both bad, so whether or not Wrestlemania 21 is worse than Raw 2 was up to you. Now the graphics are amazing. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that the graphics hold up as well as they do after 7 years. The entrances look amazing. This game is a shining example. The graphics alone do not make a game. It's the gameplay that makes the game. This was the last Xbox-only wrestling game to be made for the Xbox. Yeah, it's so bad that it bombed and it killed any future potential releases, despite the fact that this game became a classic. This also makes the game an example of how reputation is just as important as the sales, in my opinion. Now, I am sure there are multiple reasons that are beyond the developer's control as to why the game didn't turn out to be very good. Now, usually the complaints are that they ran out of time because they have to finish at a set time, obviously, and the budget. You know, despite whatever the circumstances are, shit game is shit. Well, that's been another review. Thanks for wait. I just received not one, but 2 games in the mail. Wrestling games. These are games that have had so many requests. These games are part of a series. Oh yeah. I think you know what they are. It is Backyard Wrestling 1 and 2. Look out for these reviews in the near, and I promise, near future. Alright, thanks for watching.